Hello, everybody. Destiny Arising President and VP here today, Dr. Teresa Phillips and Joy Van Patten. We are so excited that you're with us today, Joy. And we're going to be talking about the summit in Ohio, and Joy's church is going to be hosting it. Joy, where's it going to be at? Give us the address.
Well, the address is actually 2904 West US 22. However, you're better to Google it by the Landon Kroger Shopping Plaza in Mainville, Ohio.
Yeah.
So Landon Kroger Shopping Plaza, Mainville, Ohio, that will get you there better. GPS just doesn't like that 2904
Nah.
address well. But we're really close to Kings Island Amusement Park, if you're familiar with that. We're 5 minutes away from the Kings Island Amusement Park. So that gives you the ballpark of where we're located. It's called Pure Ministries Fellowship. You can find us on Facebook, and we're excited to be hosting.
We are so excited to be coming down there. And this year's theme, Joy, is Bloom Where You're Planted. Share with your heart what you think about that theme.
You know, I think sometimes, and I love the word destiny, obviously destiny arising, but I think if we're, sometimes we get too caught up in that. We think sometimes destiny's always out there. I'm always aspiring to find my destiny. What's my destiny? And, you know, our destiny is simply to be ambassadors for God in the area, in the season that he's called us to be. So bloom where you're planted is exactly what that means to me, is wherever God has stationed you at a particular season in your life, you are to just live that assignment, go with gusto 100%.
I believe that.
Yes.
I believe that. And that's a yes, you can moment.
It really is. And I think some keys there is, you know, one of the things as we were thinking about this conference, and I was even thinking about speaking with you tonight, that just hit my mind a lot was, you know, really seeking God where we are to be in particular seasons, not getting behind ourselves and not getting beside ourselves or ahead of ourselves, but really understanding and being in alignment where God has called us to be, right? That's where you're going to be the most fertile. And it may not be, you know, exactly where you put yourself, right?
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, if you really seek the Lord, he will also, he says, he will give us the desires of our heart. Well, if our heart is really his heart, we need to understand his desires become our desires.
Yeah.
And so we will really, I found in my own life, learn to love where I am and learn to be in love with where I am and the assignment that he's given me for a particular time.
You know, I love that because we so many times we often compare ourselves to what somebody else is doing, and we think, oh, maybe I'm supposed to be doing that. And or we feel guilty that we're not doing that. And I think that this bloom where you're planted just gives us that stability to say, hey, God sees me right where I am, and that's good enough.
That's exactly right. You know, I get inspired every day on the corner of my cul-de-sac. There's a gentleman who's planted a magnolia tree. Well, Ohio's not known for magnolia trees, right? I love to go down south and see those blooming. But guess what? The magnolia tree does all summer.
Are you serious?
It's gorgeous. It blooms where it's planted. So, you know, sometimes you just may feel like a magnolia tree in Michigan, or you may feel like
Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful because really those trees normally are. And that is such a good analogy of blooming where you're planted. He had a vision. He went after the vision. He put it where he thought he should put it. And look at it. It's blooming.
It's blooming and it's beautiful. It's thriving, not just surviving. You know, it's thriving. And that just, I look at that every time they go, that's a good message, Lord. And right at the end of my street, so my comings and my goings, I'm going, you know, I am blooming where I'm planted.
Well, what do you think about the upcoming summit, Joy? What do you think? I think it's going to be awesome.
I think we've got phenomenal speakers lined up. I'm, you know, real excited to hear from Angelique Gibson. She is just an inspirational, really leader in her field. She comes from information technology.
Yeah.
If you hear her story, and she'll tell it much better than I will. Just to give you a little clue, though, I know you'll be hearing from her later on some of these broadcasts. But you know, she probably never thought I'm going to grow up and be the kind of world renowned chief information officer.
I know.
And what she is, I mean, she's made the Forbes top 50 list. It really doesn't get much better than that. And so, but yet she's living her God calling, and she's extremely humble, but you're going to learn so much about saying yes to God, even when it seems out of your domain. You're going to say yes to him because something in your heart's going to go, I think that's your calling, girl. I think that's where you're supposed to be. So she's going to inspire, encourage all of us. And she certainly learned to bloom where she was planted at different stages of her life.
She sure did.
And she's still growing. So I'm excited to hear from her. I know Jo Ellen Stevens is new to our lineup. She doesn't live that far away from us. I've not met her personally, but I'm excited to meet her. Just familiar with her writings, as are a lot of people on Facebook. Extremely gifted, and she's really just been getting a lot in her spirit about the seven mountains. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say. So you're going to hear from some really inspirational women. A lot of us are in Faith Mountain. A lot of us are in Family Mountain, in Business Mountain, Arts and Media Mountain. You're just going to come and hear and get encouraged and know that God has a plan for your life. And so we're excited to come with like-minded women who will encourage you. And I should say men too. There'll be a few men among us, and they're good men. I speak for your husband and mine. Two guys who stand behind their women, right?
Oh my gosh, it is so true. And they believe in destiny arising.
Yes, they do.
That's what's so cool about it, is that they're like right in there.
Yeah, and they just, encourage us to be all God's created us to be. So you're going to come and be in some good company of some guys who will actually live, as true men, and live their dream and bloom where they're planted, and also support the women in their lives as we support them. So, I think you'll be encouraged with that. But it's just going to be, I think, a predestined time in the Lord. If you can come. I encourage you. Even if you say, I don't know if I can come, make a way. God will make a way. We'll help you get here. But you're going to be blessed. And you're going to have a lot of people just speaking positively, God words, God plans into your life.
Yes. Go to destinyarising.net. Register as soon as possible, because we only have a limited amount of seating, and we want you to register. destinyarising.net. We will be posting within the next few days or within the next week your hotel arrangements, where the airports are. We want you to have a comfortable ride. We want you to come in and enjoy. There's going to be a luncheon. There's going to be worship. There's going to be fellowship. There's going to be networking. This is your hour to bloom where you're planted.
Amen. It really is.
Really. Well, Joy, I thank you so much for coming on, and I will talk to you soon.
Sounds like a plan. Everybody, I'll see you in September. Bye.
Bye.